Hey, I can see myself. So, can you hear me, Jennifer? Just want to make sure that the sound is working the way it's supposed to. Hey, Amy. So, can people hear me? Guys, I'm surprised I still have friends after this week. So, we're going to give people just a couple minutes. 3 minutes, 4 minutes past the hour. I'll start up the presentation. The software I have not used previously. So, we'll see how it goes. So far, it looks good on my side. Julia, I'm not sure why you can't see me. I don't know tech support wise exactly what to do about that. You may want to refresh the page. Sorry the sound was so loud, Jennifer. The webinar will be just about 90 minutes, give or take. It depends on how quickly I go through the slides. Thanks for the tip about hitting reconnect, Megan. I'm not exactly sure if you guys see exactly what I see on my end. So, really excited to share this information in this format. Looking at webinars and how they're set up is really interesting for me because you realize that it almost feels like Star Trek. We're communicating in ways that we couldn't previously. Well, if you could see to my right, there's Blue, which is the pit bull who has chronic dysthymia. Blue's laying here on the couch next to me. So again, we'll just give him 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll kick up the presentation. Since we're already sitting here, do you guys have questions about anything specifically? Not something like, how am I trying to say this? I'll answer questions after the webinar. It's a little more challenging to answer them during because I'm kind of going through the presentation. I'll do my best to possibly do that depending on what you ask. But do you have any questions before we get started? My background, Debbie? You mean like what's in the background? This is just my living room. Uh, God does my hair. It just grows out of my head, and I typically use no poo. So the background, what are you talking about, Debbie? You mean for body work, massage? Oh, okay. I've been a massage therapist for 15 years. I've practiced nearly exclusively Thai massage for 12 or more, and I've been an instructor and CE provider for the last, I think, 7 years. And slowly, as I was teaching the body work that I do, I kept running into problems because students essentially couldn't sell what I did. They didn't understand how to package it and put it together. So I've been working over time. The Massage Entrepreneurs Group really grew out of that process where I had to learn how. Oh, where trained? I started at the Baltimore School of Massage in York, Pennsylvania. At that time, it was a Steiner school. I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and studied with a woman from New Orleans for several years as her teaching assistant. She taught Thai massage, had traveled all over the country. So I sort of westernized what I had been taught by her. I just kept practicing after that. I've taken various classes with other educators, people like James Wozlowski. I pay attention to the Dermo Neuromodulating Group and a few others online. And mainly 15 years of hard work. Lots of clients and lots of all the ins and outs of what we do in our industry. So give me just one more minute and then I will turn on the slideshow so we can get started. Always happy to chat. Regardless of what you read, transparency, total transparency, really high ethics. Debbie, the webinar should be about 90 minutes. That's my guess. We might go a little bit shorter. It depends on questions and how quickly we go through the slides. I wish I could tell how many people. Aha, okay. I see how many people are on now. So just one more minute. You guys excited? Were any of you on the previous webinar? You were, Deborah? Nice. Some of this information is going to be the same. I did redo some of the script. And then for some reason with the previous software, we had some people who had problems viewing. So we'll see if this software works a bit better. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the presentation. I should be able to still see that you're commenting. So if you have a question as we go, I'll try to answer. If I don't feel like I'm ignoring you. I'm just busy going through the slides and whatever my mental process is. So I'm going to turn it on. And here we have the beginning. The reason all of you showed up, because you want to hear me talk about how to save your hands and make more money. Good to have you on board, D. And here we go. I want to solve some problems for the massage industry. I spend lots of time looking at what goes on in our businesses, not only my own, but other massage therapists as they deal with students increasingly. Again, that was how the massage entrepreneurs business, massage entrepreneurs group grew. Was I had these issues and I needed a larger format to talk to massage therapists about the problems they were having. When I talk to students, they consistently tell me that their hands hurt. I see this across the board, especially with fledgling massage therapists who don't have a huge amount of training. In other words, they're fresh out of school, maybe by a year or two. I constantly hear about too little income. It's the one that really grates on me and even shows in some of the conversations that get heated on the entrepreneurs group, because I feel like the industry isn't doing enough to help therapists think outside the box to solve those issues. And Regine, you will have access to the webinar after this for like 72 hours. Good to have you on board, Mason. The therapists also tell me that clients want more pressure. So they feel forced to use their hands to be able to make money. It's this vicious circle that I see again and again. I'm going to show you a new way of working that solves this. Because what I'm doing, much like I do in the entrepreneurs group, is I'm walking you through what I do. I'm going to show you photos of how I work. I'm going to show you how I'm using my body to answer a lot of the issues that people in our industry are having. And here's my promise to you. In 90 minutes, I'm going to show you what I think real success is. I'm going to show you how to make more income. And I'm going to show you how to crush it. I think what I'm doing is a real innovation in our industry, to the point that nobody else in my area offers the service that I offer, maybe even possibly my state. So, make sure I have your attention. I'd like you to turn off your cell phone, or at least silence it. Turn off Facebook. And if you're serious about your results, I really think that what I'm sharing in this webinar can change your life. I think it can change your practice irrevocably. And I think that just like the information I share on the Massage Entrepreneurs Group, I'm zealous about it. I'm really trying to change the industry. I'm really trying to work with therapists to create a better industry. Not even specifically just by doing what I do, but by helping therapists and by providing that information. As you well know, my name is Robert, and I started off a lot like you guys, which means I got into the business because I wanted to help people. I got into the business because I wanted to assist people in taking away pain, and I myself had had chronic pain, which is what led me into massage school to begin with. I was hit by a drunk driver when I was 22. I was a philosophy student, and I was put in a situation where I just had to figure it out. And the medical community and the legal establishment basically did nothing to help me. What I call it is the school of hard knocks. I had to learn from the ground up. So when I talk about chronic pain management, it's because I had to deal with my own chronic pain. I still use things that I teach daily just to work on myself to try to keep pain at bay, and to make sure I didn't wind up in a situation where I had to stick needles in my arm. I'm a massage therapist and a yoga instructor. I have what I consider a thriving practice. This past November, I just passed a year in private practice successfully. That was a real like hurdle for me. I felt like really amazing to have gone a full year knowing that I was my own boss. I think deeply about business and about entrepreneurship. Those two things were something I used to not care about very much. I was interested in the art. I spent the bulk of my time until about 6 years ago working on the art, not the business. And I was completely broke. We talk about my work history, a little more background. I present at the AMTA Texas conventions on occasion. That's here in my state. The Lauderstein Conway Massage School here in Austin. I teach there regularly, usually a series of classes once a year. And I regularly put out content through the Psyche Truth channel on YouTube. They have about 1.5 million subscribers. I'm a self-made and published CE provider. I wrote and edited and produced my own series of Thai massage workbooks and DVDs because I didn't like what I saw in the marketplace and I needed content to go along with my classes. At this stage, I've written about 700 pages of Thai massage sequence manuals and produced about 6 DVDs. That's about to shift, I think, to a higher number. I have another workbook and another 3 DVD set coming out. My business really took off when I put out the free Thai massage workbook. That workbook has been downloaded well over 10,000 times. I still get a handful of downloads every day for years now. So my email list continues to grow, and I start to teach in other places, other states. When I started in private practice, I was charging $35 an hour, and now I charge $240 a session. What will your life be like when you have effective tools to help your clients? Maybe even more effective tools. When you don't have to work so hard and wear yourself out, giving the clients the pressure that they want, giving them the body work that they want. When you don't deliver the body work or the pressure maybe that the clients want, it's like they have an itch that you can't quite scratch. It's annoying to them. We're going to show you how to add value to your sessions. While we do that, we're going to show you how to work so that you lessen strain on your own body. You're going to work hard on your business, but I think the sessions I deliver are easier on my body. And we'll go into some of those details. We're going to show you how to lessen your strain. Results. Proof. I was in poverty and credit card debt for stuff like food. It was a really frustrating time. Mary Duval loves when I tell this story, but I was in my front yard getting ready to cry because I didn't have clients. Now, I currently have no debt other than my mortgage. Absolutely none. I have a thriving business and I get great reviews like this. Josh W. here was one of my clients with chronic back pain. And this even unsolicited review in this case is the sort of stuff that people kept posting on my Yelp page. People were getting what I considered medical grade results. but I was doing work that increasingly didn't resemble what people think of as massage. Right now, I have very loyal clients. Classes that are growing rapidly. And I have the problems of success instead of poverty. If I mention haters, you guys will know what I'm talking about, or at least some of you will. The problems of success. Everybody's going to have problems. I would prefer to have the ones of success. The results that I'm talking about, I don't think are typical, particularly from a webinar. I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing to get great results. The average person who attends a training like this probably doesn't get any results because you have to do things. You can't just wish and hope that business grows. You actually have to work at the art. You have to work at the business to build. And I'm going to show you for free what's working for me. And to go even further, when we talk about the fact that I'm showing it to you for free, I paid Facebook to advertise for this webinar to get you on board. Because I think you're going to be so excited about what I'm sharing that you're going to want to get on board with me. This is no get-rich-quick scheme. I loathe what I consider some elements of business and marketing in the sense that I felt like people are being sold a false bill of goods. They're not really getting what I think they paid for. What I do is possible, I think, for most massage therapists, but I also do not think it's easy. You have to study and practice. There's no way around that. You have to practice. It's you, your body. I can't teach you muscle memory. And you have to dedicate yourself to being the best in the industry. The absolute best. You have to be unflinchingly, unapologetically you, and you have to push forward. 1, you have to use more than just your hands. 2, you have to use techniques that are so different that you're no longer giving what people think of as a massage. And I'm going to show you how to use 3-hour sessions to get 16 regular clients. 16 regular clients rotating on a 2-week basis. You basically have a sold out practice. Pretty full. Preferably, I work 4 days a week and get a 3-day weekend. I'll be completely honest by saying that for me, I work way more than 4 days a week. In fact, when I stay up on a late night on a day off to write a post about Twitter, I don't get paid for that. If you work 6 hours each day, see 2 clients a day, we talked about the 3-day weekends. Each week I'll generate about $2,000 with tips. $2,000 a week. Now, those are ideal numbers. Even I don't always hit that. Sometimes I do, and that's awesome. But for the most part, you have to build your practice. That's what we talk about online. And it's an ideal situation that I'm working on because I'm still building my business. I'm sharing with you the process that I went through to help build. Here's what I see in our industry currently. Massage therapists are hurting themselves by using their hands excessively. Your hands are not your only tools, but massage therapists across the board seem to be taught in school to primarily use their hands. Sometimes I even talk to massage therapists and they're barely even using their forearms and elbows. And our industry is stuck on a massage table. The table is basically the only way that massage therapists seem to be trained to work. And I'm here to help you upend our industry. I'm essentially walking into an entire industry and I'm pushing the massage table over. Now, I didn't say get rid of the table. I said upend the industry. We're going to talk about tables. We're going to talk about this a bit more. Why do therapists not work on a mat, learning how to use their leg, knees, and feet? I don't have a succinct answer for that, but massage regulation and the way things have been set up culturally in the West, you're taught how to use your hands and arms. When I was introduced to Thai massage, it was a completely different way of working. You worked on a mat and you could use the lower portion of your body to work. I could use my feet to work on someone else's feet. I could use my feet to deliver a broader compression to someone's calves and allow them to get some relief through soleus deep down in there. But I was using a larger, broader tool that didn't frog the client. It wasn't sharp like an elbow. It's a completely different surface. What about hamstrings? I'm showing a bigger, broader compression, again, with my foot. Right now, I'm probably about 230 pounds, so I'm leaning in with deeper pressure, using more body weight. And also, because I'm not using my hands, it's saving them. I'm using my hands less than most massage therapists would. If I'm working in gluteals, as a male in our industry, it gave me the option of working clothed to be able to use, again, a bigger, broader structure that was easier on my hands to press into gluteal tissue. Big, broad compressions. At this point in a session, I might have worked for 15 minutes and I haven't even used my hands yet. If I'm working paraspinal musculature, the broad ball pad of my foot can fit right along somebody's paraspinals. I can rock them with my feet. I can mobilize them with my feet. And then what about the arm, the rotator cuff? Again, big, broad compression, crosses over the tricep, crosses over infraspinatus. Again, still not using my hands, using my feet. Now, I can always come down to the mat and use my hands, which I do a lot, but it gives me an option that is hands-free, which allows me to save my hands, my carpal tunnel. I've been working 15 years and my hands and arms don't bother me. In the second photo, I've changed position and I'm pressing a little more directly right on infraspinatus, right into the shoulder blade, the rotator cuff, maybe a little bit of teres. A lot of massage therapists are worried about the value they get from CE classes. Expensive CE classes that often, in my experience, teach you very little. I've been through some very costly classes that I didn't really feel helped me change my practice in any fundamental way. Have you ever made more due to a CE class? Have you learned a technique? Have you learned something that really changed the way that you work? Because long term, that's what I'm teaching you. We're just giving you a broad overview of that for this webinar. Even a series of classes. Have you gotten much benefit from that happening? My classes, in my experience, are completely different. I get really great reviews from students, and that school of hard knocks, hustle on the street, I'm teaching you from the ground up. I'm really reaching up to therapists to educate and try to change our industry. I'm completely and unapologetically all in on this point. So, guys, what is your experience? Type in the chat. I want to hear. What's your experience of CE classes and what's your experience of their quality? Please type in there so we can get that going. Lame. The first response is lame. And this is why my heart drops. Waste of time and money. I stopped going to them because I teach them more than they teach me. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Wow. I'm not even sure because the software is new to me. I'm not sure if you guys can see all the comments, but just on and on and on. Time consuming, hardly any new techniques. Holy moly. Listen, guys, I'm one of you. I started off as a broke massage therapist, and I kept working, and I developed what I do in response to those complaints about classes. I made my work better, and then I started teaching it. And I really want to do, I'm totally honest about this. I want to do to our industry what Uber did to the cab industry. I think that what I'm going to show you completely changes the game for how we work. Here's another question. How much do you guys spend on classes? How much do you spend on average, let's say in a year, for CE classes? The ones that apparently aren't doing very well. You need this, guys. The time has come. Somebody said they spent 1500 minimum. Got another for around 400, 600, 1 to 2 grand. I wrote curriculum myself because I was unimpressed with what was on the marketplace. I approached the work I was teaching from the standpoint of a therapist first, and I gave therapists value. I cut the shit. I gave them what I thought they needed. I had to teach what I was doing. There was just no other way to expand. I knew that eventually my practice would be totally full and I would be doing this work, and then I couldn't even fit in all the clients I could see because it was just too many clients. The other thing is there are no secrets. I'm not going to hold anything back. It isn't something that only specific people can learn. Now, how much have you gotten as far as return on investment for that income that you just talked about? Somebody said $1,000 to $2,000. Did you make back that $1,000 to $2,000? Because I want to help people, and I want to create a new massage community, a better massage community. What about this work through the adductors, completely clothed? What about some hamstring work using a structure that's better suited to working on the hamstrings? And for your return on investment, did those teachers give you help with the marketing, the selling of what you were doing? If you learned craniosacral, did they teach you how to sell it? If you learned trigger point therapy, did they teach you how to sell it? Did they teach you how to package it? And feel free to answer in the chat box as I answer some of those. Some of those are direct questions. I can see the comments, everything's working. More hamstring work with the adductors lengthened. And then here's a gluteal stretch, primarily piriformis, as I'm pushing my roommate Brett. I'm pushing his knee towards his opposite shoulder. Here's a figure 4 stretch where I'm lengthening Brett's hamstrings, lengthening his calves, and placing some pressure on the soles of his feet. I'm able to lengthen essentially all the way down to his lumbar spine because his sacrum is torqued, lifted just a little bit up. What about some forearm work? I guarantee you, one of you listening right now sees that photo and wishes you could trade places with my roommate. As you guys work with your hands and your forearms are tight, they probably look like Popeye. Deep, broad pressure. I can sustain that. I can hang out. Still not really using my hands. And what about this? And this is where things start to get, I think, a bit more interesting. Because massage and body contact is different in Thai work. My toes are curled back towards me, and Brett is getting a thoracic opening through his chest, through his rib cage, while he's able to lay back, relax, and it opens and stretches, lengthens his pecs. You can do this. It is not a secret. And I want it too. And I want it for our entire industry. Why are people working so much with their damned hands? I keep trying to push this message through, and I have an entire industry that seems like they want to obstruct. They say, well, this is weird. And I go, listen, people thought Uber was weird. Now, what do people think of ride sharing? It's got to work. It doesn't hurt my hands. Brett really likes it. In fact, I'll tell you, Brett decided to go to acupuncture school because he worked with me, had a bunch of my sessions, and decided to go into the healing arts. He later became my roommate. Awesome roommate, by the way. Now, what about some pressure in the gluteals? Here I'm using my hands. We have Brett on his side. Gives me a different pressure through his gluteals. What about giving him a bit of a twist? Some length through his side. His lats. Lengthening his rhomboids. Opening up his QL on one side. Looks pretty good to me. And I can tell you from experience, it feels great. What about some more chest opening? What about using your foot to stabilize around the shoulder blade and to invite an opening through the chest? Opening the pecs, opening the front of the body by pulling from behind, lengthening him open, stretching him open. Once I've done that, how about a little pressure into the scalenes? Neck work. Pulling his arm down to his side, opening that up, working from a different angle and position because we're on a mat. I trademarked I trademarked what I do because I think it's revolutionary. Consistently, I had educators and particularly massage therapists who came in and got sessions and proceeded to freak out about what I was doing. I would have to ask them, listen, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine, but I don't understand what you did. And I said, have you had Thai massage before? And they said, yes, but never like that. Never like that. And I had to ask them what the difference was. They said that everybody else followed a routine, but I just worked on them. I didn't follow a routine. And I would say, oh, yeah, well, I mean, after you practice for a while, even my students, I start them with a sequence. I start them with a routine, but you build up to a point where you leave that routine behind and you just flow. You go into a flow state. You work on the client. The vicious circle I see in our industry is LMT, massage therapists. They have hands that hurt. They need to make money to keep working. Their hands suffer. The clients want more pressure. And guess what it does? Circles right back around. Because when the client wants more pressure, they have to press with their hands because they got to keep making money. And that vicious circle just continues. I'm going to show you how to end that. In my experience, they're almost destined to hurt themselves to keep working. Even I, years ago, when I did just table work, started to develop what I thought was carpal tunnel syndrome. And the reason I started to develop that was because facilities I worked in wouldn't even allow, the mat-based work that I really loved. In our industry right now, what's the average that a massage therapist works for? Because I consistently see something about 5 years. No one can develop mastery in 5 years. The quality of the body work on the whole for massage therapists in the US, very low. in my opinion, compared to what it could be from somebody who worked 30 years and didn't have hands that hurt. There's a lot of harm and wrong view. Why do we not have therapists who've worked for 30 and 40 years who actually have great bodies, who feel good, who have hands that don't hurt? If the work you're doing is hurting you, you have we have to figure out a better way to work. Are you ready? Are you ready to reboot your practice? If you're in the chat, tell me you're ready to reboot. You got to work on your business. You got to work on your marketing. But we have to build your bodywork practice and your business skills. You have to have both. You got to have both tires on that bike. And I'm dedicated to helping you build, giving you the tools that you need to be able to grow and develop. You do not need healing hands. This isn't magic. Anyone can learn this if you dedicate yourself. Now, what is that? What are those things? I'm using those for support as I'm pressing on Brett's feet there. Just a little extra support. You need better tools. Wait a second. Wait. What is this? Well, I know what it is. I'm using the Reboot suspension system to do a double-footed compression on Brett's calf. It's an even broader structure that uses the bulk of my body weight to work on one calf at a time in this instance. You need muscle memory and practice. And you have to care about your clients enough to change your practice. What about a compression into the hamstrings and then a compression into the calves simultaneously? Leaning into the suspension system, compressing the calves and the hamstrings. What about hanging out and working on gluteals? Leaning back, using one foot just to press in. Clients pay me $240 a session. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because it blows my mind. Now, guys, I want you to look at what I am doing in that photo. And let me tell you that I'm sitting in the equivalent of some sort of yoga swing as I lazily cross one leg over the other and just swing into a compression. The Reboot suspension system allows me deeper compressions. Elements of the work biomechanically resemble Thai massage, but I'm using deeper compressions than therapists could typically use. I'm sitting while I'm working. And you're right. Most of America has never seen anything like it because what I'm doing in my practice doesn't exist. It is a statistical anomaly. Wow. Okay. So now I'm not just sitting in it, I'm doing an assisted back bend like the suspension system is a yoga prop while I work on the client. I am pressing into Brett's gluteals with one foot, leaning back and opening my own chest. I call it reboot because the previous terminology just didn't work anymore. Calling it massage was inadequate. I tell people sometimes that it's the mixed martial arts of bodywork. It builds off of a traditional Thai massage framework, but it adds the reboot suspension system. The theory is no longer just Thai. It builds off of pain science, common sense, and really solid, effective bodywork. I've tried it out, worked on clients, and those reviews I get are because of what I teach, because of what I'm doing. Here's another where I'm leaning into a gluteal, little compression into the hamstring there on the same side, and I'm twisting my own body. I'm lengthening what looks like my right shoulder, my right rhomboid, just to give myself a twist because I'm mobilizing my own body and breathing. I'm essentially doing a kind of yoga practice while I work on Brett. I'm leading him through his breath. He's breathing deeply, getting his gluteals to move so that I can sink in. I developed this after years of intense study. Because I was in chronic pain, I worked on myself and kept trying to figure out how to not only show people how to work on themselves, but to work more effectively on my clients. I blended the work of my various teachers and wound up with this standalone service that, again, it just didn't fit the normal massage framework. Deborah was asking if one of those bands, if I've ever had it break. And that answer is no. Just like anything else, if it was constructed poorly, it could. So there's a caution there, right? But if constructed well, I've had no issues. Nothing compares to these sessions when it comes to chronic pain. Many times I will work on people in chronic pain. They're really my target market. And it's not uncommon to have a client cry because they can't figure out how I was able to help them. And I just have to explain to them that I've practiced for a lot of years and I focused on chronic pain because I was in it. Here's what we're going to blend. We're going to blend yoga, Thai massage, yoga therapy, pain science, advanced abdominal work, myofascial release, trigger point therapy, common sense, and a solid marketing package that your clients will pay more for. Your clients will pay more for this. The only reason I'm not charging more currently is because I have to build what I'm doing because people don't know what it is. If people are looking for a massage, they're not necessarily looking for what I do because they don't know what I do exists. How about some work on the paraspinals again? hanging out right there in our suspension system. And here's where it gets more interesting, guys, because the suspension system is mobile. It moves. You've seen me move it. You've seen me use it as two pieces, one piece in various ways. Now I've got it hooked under my arm so that I can sink my knee into that sweet spot in the rotator cuff. Big, broad compression. Carrie, you have to come get a session. I want to give all of you a session. And that's why I get frustrated sometimes with regulation. But big, broad compression. I'm hanging out, guys. Look at me. Look at the way I'm hanging out. I'm just stacking body weight. Why are massage therapists overworking their hands? I keep going over this again and again and again, and it just drives me mad. Hanging out. Look at Brett. Totally wiped out. Now, is it scary? What I'm talking about. How many times have you seen me work on a table? None. Totally upends the industry. A completely different way of working that does not exist in our country at all. It is a complete transformation of how massage therapists can work. My own clients kept telling me that they'd never had anything like it. They kept raving about how effective it was. In addition, what I got was when I would talk to clients, they would want to refer clients to me and they would try to explain to someone what I was doing. And the person's like, oh, where he does massage, right? And they're like, yeah, but no. Yeah, no, but not really. Because I was doing something completely different. Now, how do you feel about tibialis anterior? And a little compression to your quadriceps while sitting, again, in the suspension system. What about, hey, he needs a little more compression just in his quads. I'm going to scoot over and I'm going to hang out. No pressure on my hands. Not overworking at all. How did I go about deciding to charge more? I kept doing 3-hour sessions without sweating. And the clients just kept reporting better and better results and would say that it was more than massage. At that point, I started to think about rebranding because I was having marketing challenges. It was so transformative. When I talk about it being more than a massage, it was an experience. People were just like, wow, I've never had anything like that. And I pursued it because it was just better. It was a better service. It felt better to me. It made the practice stand out. It made what I did stand out. People were getting over chronic pain problems. They were crying because they didn't have carpal tunnel anymore in their mind. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, if you work with nerves and you release the pain, the symptoms go away. It was just based on results that I couldn't get rid of. It was based on things that I couldn't ignore. It was no longer massage as the culture defines it. And if you have driver support there, that was my computer, not yours. It was just no longer massage. It wasn't the same thing that people think of when they think of as a massage. I needed a new name, and that's how Reboot was born. Because I'm rebooting my practice. I want to reboot your practice We're going to reboot your client's carpal tunnel, and we're going to reboot the massage industry. I slowed down, breathed deeply, and got rid of tension in my clients. Here's me on the suspension system again. Now, I've built up to this, but it's just to demonstrate some of the capacity of what this form of work allows. I'm standing on his arm. I'm standing on his forearm flexors, and I'm standing a little bit on the deltoid, bicep, probably a little tricep compression. Very deep. How about some pec work, guys? You have challenges giving pec work? Do clients like receiving work on their pecs? Because that elbow is pointy and it's sharp. And let me tell you, here's what you can do. You ever try using a knee? You can do this as a standalone without the bands. When you do it without the suspension system, what people would call bands or whatever, when you do it without the suspension system, it looks more like what people think of as Thai massage. When you add the suspension system and add deeper compressions and make the sessions 3 hours long, that was where I got to the point I thought I needed to rebrand. I'm hanging out, giving Brett some of the most effective pec work I have ever seen. It doesn't hurt my hands. Does it look like I'm working hard? You should pick up this technique because it is the Rolls Royce of bodywork. It's easier on your body, and it's more effective for your clients. I will tell you that again and again and again. And D, if you're only 95 pounds, we're going to teach you to use all 95 pounds. And Estelle, yes, I wash my feet before and after clients. It's the same hygiene precautions that you'd take with any kind of massage. Also, I don't tend to use a lot of cream or Glide. You haven't seen that, right? So the thing is, I don't have to clean like oil or stuff off of my feet. I'm getting grip. Now here's the bigger challenge. How do you sell it? Long term, I'm going to work with you one-on-one to help you create this package that you can sell to your clients. Because what I'm doing is I'm helping you create what I did in my practice. Anybody can do massage, but in my experience, only elite therapists are going to reboot their clients. 3-hour sessions. I'm going to see 2 clients a day. That's why those reviews are so good. Because I'm rebooting the client. So Mason is 270. That's what he's saying. So Mason, in your situation, you're probably going to use the suspension system less, but you're still going to use it in slightly different ways. It really depends on your body. Because this is the mixed martial arts of body work, I have to work with you to show you how to use your tools, because my tools are shaped differently and I'm only like 230 pounds. So what if you work on a table? What if you don't want to transition to the mat? You can still use portions of what I do on a table. I don't want to just throw the table away. That's not what I'm trying to do. I am trying to offer an alternative because there's not a lot of alternative in the industry. For my practice, I don't have problems with clients who don't want to get on the mat because I built this. I had to build the practice. In fact, I no longer get phone calls really for people looking for table work. I have a table-based sequence of materials you can follow step by step. So in other words, there's a 142-page workbook where I go over what you can do on a table. Because, well, what if I get a little old lady who's got osteoporosis? She's 75 years old. Well, okay, I'll take out my table and I'll work on her. Because I don't want to push her away. I probably just wouldn't do a 3-hour session. Who are the best clients for the work? In my experience, people in chronic pain respond the best to this. After that, it's probably athletes and yoga instructors. Think CrossFitters. People who are working out, they use their bodies, they need really deep, effective body work. And here we go again. Here goes Robert on the suspension system, on the client's leg, into the adductors, into the calf. Hanging out. Oh, well, if you're on your side and you want to put a knee right into that ornery spot, right at levator scapula. Now, how many of you want this? Because Brett looks like he's feeling pretty great right there. Because this, in many ways, is a better tool to address the tension at that cervicothoracic junction. It's not about getting rid of your hands. It's not even really about getting rid of the table. It's about using the most effective tools possible to ease our strain and work more effectively on the clients. What if I traction his arm down and away, give a little bit of length? Hanging out on the suspension system. A little bit more towards the neck. So let's do some math real quick. You need 16 regular clients. 1 3-hour session every 2 weeks, and you're booked solid 4 days a week. 4 days a week. Remember we said that? At the current rates that I charge, $240 a session, 2 clients a day, 4 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Now, that didn't include vacation time, but we're only having 4 days a week, right? Who's ready to make $100,000 a year? I am not there yet, but I'm close. As far as the amount of pressure, Tony, it really depends on the client. Just like you were doing deep tissue, where you're working and what you're working on, and the client's physicality is going to change the amount of pressure you deliver. So, how do you find clients for it? I have some creative ideas, and I've had to learn marketing inside and out because I was selling something that was different. So, I had to understand the sales, the marketing process. One of the big differences is an event I created called Thai Massage Jam. How many of you have heard of Thai Massage Jam? Tell me in the chat box. Because currently there's only one chapter in the United States, and that's the one in Austin. A whole lot of no's. Because Thai Massage Jam hasn't spread yet, but we're going to work on that. So what is it? Thai Massage Jam? It's the first community bodywork event in America, to my knowledge. It's an amazing idea whose time has come. I needed word of mouth about what I was doing in my hometown of Austin. So I fostered this event. In February, it'll be 5 years. For 5 years, I have run this event in my community. While you're working on reboot certification with me, we're going to certify you to run a Thai Massage Jam in your community. Again, you're going to replicate what I've done in my practice and in some of my marketing to help it fit your needs in your community. You can target your specific clients for the event So if you like working on yoga teachers, you can work with yoga teachers specifically using this event to market to them. What you're going to do is you're going to educate and you're going to share freely in a community bodywork event I call Time Massage Jam. It's made a really big name in my community, and it's how word got out about this crazy guy who was doing this amazing bodywork. And I want the same thing for you. If you want to study with me, you're an iconoclast. You want solutions to difficult questions. You won't settle for pat answers, and you inquire deeply. Together, we're going to alter the course of our industry. We're going to change everything, guys. Reboot is not massage as most people think of it. And it's not even massage as most massage therapists think of it. Does it seem confusing? I think it should. You have to keep in mind that you've probably never seen this before. You know, you've never seen someone do a mat-based system of work with a suspension system. Your customers have also never seen anything like this. Henry Ford was quoted as saying, "If I'd asked my customers what they wanted, they'd have told me they wanted a faster horse." We're introducing the Model T Ford in our industry. My entire industry is around riding a horse. They see me in a car and they go, "What is that? That's weird." Reboot is a new idea. It doesn't exist. I'm going all in. I'm tired of sitting around. It's time. I'm nervous, and you should be as well. I was nervous coming up to this webinar. It's challenging for me to share this information with you guys. It's new terrain. Subtly, people tell me it's impossible. They're like, "No, there's no way." Then I talk to my clients and students and see what they say. And they're the people who write those reviews. They're the people who paid my bills. They're the people who paid for the Time Massage workbooks, materials, DVDs, website, and my marketing. I used money from my clients to get you on board this webinar. You can do it. We can do it. How do we get started? You're ready to reboot. In-person classes take time, right? That's why I'm running a webinar. I think somebody's from Australia. I'm not in Australia right now, right? I can't go to Australia currently and give you a session. I'm busy. I got things going on. I have to show you how to use your legs and feet before we get to the reboot suspension. The challenge with the suspension system is you have to know how to use your lower body. I have to teach you to feel with your legs and feet. The Time Massage materials I wrote were the foundation of the training I was creating. I didn't think of it as reboot at the time because I didn't have the suspension system. When I started, my sessions were maybe 30 minutes sometimes, or an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Then the sessions again kept getting longer. The suspension system was added, and I just stopped. I stopped trying to make my work and my practice look like everybody else's, and I stepped in like an expert in my field and said, I'm going to give the clients what's best for them and what's best for me, and that's reboot. I'm going to work with you to craft the art. No educator comes close to my zeal. Enthusiasm pervades my work. We're going to reboot the industry. You're going to make more income and you're going to save your body. I do not tell you that as an educator. I tell you that as a therapist who figured it out, who had chronic pain and started to develop more chronic pain because of the way I was taught in school, and I figured it out. Is this for real? Oh, yeah. It's real. I'm doing it. I am proof that it can be done. You're going to get in on the ground floor of a movement, guys. You're the first people, I think, in San Francisco who downloaded the Uber app. And what did Uber do? Proceeded to change transportation. More money and appreciative clients are just a few steps of dedication away. Let's reboot clients' carpal tunnel. Let's reboot their sciatica and back pain. Let's reboot your practice. Are you enjoying the webinar? Please write into the thing. Bettina's asking if I get regular massages. I get work at the Thai Massage Jam that I host, and I'll occasionally trade with students. I can tell you that in my experience, I don't get a huge amount of benefit out of what most people think of as table-based massage, in my experience. But that's just me. We covered how to save your body and make more money. We discussed how to create clients who pay you $240 a session. One session, 3 hours, epic transformative work. And we talked about how the practice can generate nearly $100,000 a year from 16 regular clients. 2 clients a day, 4 days a week, 52 weeks a year. You ready to take it to the next level? Here's the curriculum, guys. You're going to make more money from high quality education. It's going to save your hands. The bundle. The Intro Thai PDF is 54 pages. It's a mat sequence, just to get you started. The videos that go along with that workbook are an hour and 45 minutes long. I go over that workbook page by page. The page numbers literally pop up on the screen as you're going through these materials. Then, if you're still on the table, you guys work on tables, right? Some of you may do mat-based work as well. You need table stuff. We have to transition your practice. I can't expect you to just turn your, whole practice upside down and do what I do overnight. We have to walk you along. The Table Thai PDF is 142 pages. There's a prone, supine, and side lying sequence. It has 2.5 hours of video. It follows the entire workbook, again, page by page. And then there's the phase 1 sequence, which is seated and double leg exercises. It's another 220 pages. I poured my heart and soul into these materials to teach massage therapists so that I could reach out to someone in Australia, in Singapore, in Japan, in Russia, in Alaska, in Canada, in Colombia, Argentina, around the world, because I couldn't hold on to what I was doing. I had to share it. It's just like we're in class together. The same tone, the same enthusiasm. It was made by me, by a massage therapist, for a massage therapist, because I figured out how to make it work, and I want to share how to make it work. The Table Thai sequence, again, it's going to help you transition people. I don't expect you to turn your practice upside down overnight. It takes time, but I'm going to work with you step by step. Here's the deal. The first 20 people who purchase the bundle are going to get a free 30-minute phone consult with me. My guess is when you purchase, we're going to do this maybe a month after you receive your materials, because I want you to have time to go over those materials, practice with some of the materials, so you can have a really high quality phone conversation with me. That's for the first 20 people who purchase, and that's only, by the way, for the live webinar. You're here live with me. This is for you guys. The cost for 416 pages of sequence manuals And 4 hours of video instruction is $97. Everything I just mentioned, you purchase on my website using a link I'm going to give you, and it's $97 available immediately. You download it from the store. So here's the thing. What if you want paper materials? You're like, listen, I want spiral bound workbooks. I want DVDs. Okay, that's fine. There's a package for that. The exact same offer applies, including the free phone call for the first 20 buyers. That package is $190 because I have to pay for the printing. You have to pay for the printing. I mean, not printing, pressing, or however they do DVDs. So the thing is, I have to ship those in the mail, but you'll still be able to download those should you choose. I just wanted to make paper copies available because some people feel more comfortable with those. These are just photos of my spiral bound materials. 54, 142, 220 pages. A single disc and a double disc. The phone call bonus does not matter on which package you purchase, okay? Doesn't matter at all. The digital bundle or the paper bundle, there we are again at your price difference. My personal guarantee to you, it is designed to be easy to use and integrate into your practice. You will stand out. Really stand out. Nobody in your area is doing this. You'll learn how to use your legs and feet so we can get you ready for the reboot suspension system. Now, there's an additional bonus. For all who purchase tonight and on the replay, we're going to allow this for the replay. If you purchase, we're going to give you an additional 2-hour webinar on the fundamentals of Facebook marketing, how to turn a click into a customer, how to how to create an award-winning ad, a Facebook ad case study that brought in over $2,000 in less than 3 days, and how you can do the same, and a live Q&A with my Facebook ads team, in addition to the free training webinar. If you purchase the 190 bundle, in addition, here's more, free done for you Facebook ad campaign to get started. And here's what that includes: ad copy, meaning the copy, the materials for your ad, email templates, targeting, retargeting ad copy to target those same people, and another free 30-minute strategy call. Everything I've created is to help massage therapists like me who struggled. We're going to save your hands. We're going to reboot the industry, and we're going to make a whole lot of money helping people, doing what we really set out to do when we became massage therapists. It was created by a massage therapist to help massage therapists. Because reboot is the manual therapy of the 21st century. So, in the chat box, tell me how excited you are. Because those are photos. Later webinars will potentially have video, but we're working on infrastructure. I'm going to turn off the screen share and pull up my camera so I can chat with you guys. And Here we go again. I'm back. So here is what we have, guys. I'm going to see if I can go in and post this link. Now, give me 1 second. That link is the link to purchase. It gives you the option of the digital or the organic package to get you started. The ABCDEF is the coupon code. Now, I believe that the bundles are only available for 3 days. So if you decide you want to purchase, it's only available for 3 days. But the first 20 who purchase are the ones who get the bonus offer. Just like we mentioned. D, I don't give CEs for the materials. I don't have sort of like online classes, though that may develop over time. We'll have to wait and see. I can tell you that the materials themselves are the highest quality manuals that I've seen. My students consistently are just amazed at the quality of what I produced on my own. So there's the link. The coupon code, I mean, not the coupon code. The password is ABCDEF. It gives you the option there. You guys, Carrie, the password is ABCDEF. It's right next to the link. You can still purchase some of the same materials, Roz, if you decide to do it at a later date. You might want to catch a later webinar or just buy them as is. There's a slight discount, I believe, based on the webinar, the math we figured out. But I believe that the bundle's only for sale for 3 days, as we have it for this package, for this webinar. You're basically getting a copy of everything I currently have available. I just don't have the new workbook up yet, and I don't have the new DVD set up yet. Kristen, I believe that the paper package includes the digital as well. So when you purchase the paper package, I'm going to package that to ship, but as soon as you've paid, it gives you access through the store to start going ahead and downloading. So D, you don't have to purchase this second. You can always click that link, like open another tab so you can purchase after we're done here. I will also send you an email with that link and with the coupon code in case you decide to pick it up tomorrow. But remember, the first 20 people who purchase are going to get that package. So get on it. I want to be able to have a phone call with you. I want to be able to talk to Mason one-on-one. I want to be able to talk to Deborah, Roz, D one-on-one for 30 minutes and answer your specific questions because I know that your needs are specific. Your practice isn't mine. Maybe you live in another state, another country, have different rules. So, Megan, you can give Thai massage. There are no really distinct rules about how that's practiced. A lot of people feel more comfortable taking an in-person class before saying they're doing Thai massage, but it is possible to do that. You're not certified, right? We have discussions about that in our industry. The suspension system. The suspension system is the thing that I'm still trying to figure out and work with, because the challenge is you have to know how to use your legs and feet to be able to feel, to be able to get to the suspension system. Now, once again, I'm going to go in, I'm going to post that one more time, just in case it scrolled past. I don't sell the bands, as people are calling them. I call it the suspension system, as a standalone. I don't, at this point, show how they're set up or connected because I'm a little concerned about people hurting someone. The compressions are so deep, you can break bones. You have to learn how to do it. And I feel more safe working with you in person to share that information at this point. Excuse me. I'm here. We're still like a few minutes shy of an hour and a half. Do you guys have any other questions as we're sitting in the room here? Because I'm happy to chat with you. So, Megan, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm going to be in Davenport sometime this year. I'm not sure how far apart Cleveland and Davenport are. Michigan, potentially. I don't remember the city. Somebody was asking me to come to Michigan, and I may have an intro Thai class in Michigan sometime this year. So for certification, I don't offer a certification for Thai massage. What I'm doing is offering a certification long term for Reboot. And then I'm offering a certification for students who are interested to run a Thai massage jam as well. I'm going to teach you from the ground up how to do that. The suspension system, I don't go into a lot of detail about what it's made of and how, just because I'm essentially trying to do a limited release. I'm trying to test the marketplace and figure out what the potential is when I'm working with therapists. I really want to share it and I want to continue working. If you come to my home studio here in Austin and take a class, you get to see it and use it a little bit. But even when I work with students who are going through some of my later classes, I'll ask them, when do you think I should start teaching this? And they're like, oh man, they immediately see the liability issues, this potential for harm. Not that it's harmful, but there's potential there because of the depth of the compressions. Um, I'm not the best about tech support, but I will hang out for just a few more minutes. Any other question, guys, feel free to chat with me. If something comes up later and you have questions, let me know. Please change your practice and let me help you. Those bundles are amazing. They are some of the best materials in the marketplace. Everything I've done for 15 years is distilled and given to you incrementally in those materials and in my classes. I don't have any current plans to make it into New York, Bettina. They have some of the harshest regulation in the US. I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that. Laurie, you just joined us. You will be able to see this webinar, I think, for another 72 hours. So there will be a replay link when we are finished. The Facebook ads that we talked about, the Facebook ads have an estimated value of about $2,000, guys. And I know that's an add-on. It's not my specialty. My Facebook ad guys, my Facebook ad team are working with that. But it's about a $2,000. Like if you had to pay for those templates and those trainings, that's what it would be. The first 20 people who purchase are going to get that. Ohio, Deborah, again, Davenport, I think sometime this year. I can't remember if it's April, maybe. When it comes to Pennsylvania, Tina, I'd love to come out. Please contact me and let me know where in Pennsylvania you are and see maybe if I can set up a class there. I went to school initially in Pennsylvania, so that'd be really nice. Do you guys have any other questions just before we finish up? It's been really great. Lancaster, okay. I went to school in York, so you're just down the street. Visiting my old stomping grounds? Wow. Oh, cool, Don. You're going to be in class. Nice. Okay. So listen, guys, any last minute questions? Estelle, you're learning some of the basics of Thai massage, which is where Reboot sprouted out of. I have to teach you some of the basics of mat work to then be able to build you up. But the materials walk you through it piece by piece. Yep, Baltimore School of Massage in York, 15 years ago. I doubt any of those people are still around. There's only a couple of students I was in class with that I still keep in touch with through Facebook. But Tina, I think the work is amazing. And the thing is, you're in maybe in a place where there's a lot of competition, so it gives you something that really stands out. Carrie, you may have to create a password for your account. Thank you so much for ordering, Megan. I really appreciate it. 20 people, Facebook ads, 2 grand, all those materials, digitally 97, paper copies 190. Let's do it, guys. Let's rock it. So I'll give you a couple more minutes. Any questions before I head out? If you have any problems with the website, let me add this. When you purchase, you have to download the materials in the website. If you decide that for some reason you can't download it all now, you have to log back in. It may ask for a password. If you haven't created one, it'll ask you to create another one. Don't get too frustrated with that. You have to download the materials in the website, in the store. If you have any tech support related problems, please write me. I will do my best to respond to you immediately. Listen, really, really want to thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate you more than you know. And I will see you in class soon and on those phone calls. Thank you guys so much, and you have a great night. I will talk to you soon. Reboot!